All right, guys, good morning. We are going to be working on Dear Primo. And then if you guys have extra time, you guys can work on games around the world on your own. We're going to be looking at our CRC workbook. I'm going to be showing you guys the answers and discussing them with you. And then asynchronously, so on your own, you guys are going to fill that workbook out. And then we are going to be working on our Your Turn practice workbook. For your 5 things, if you need to review them, you can watch yesterday's lesson, or you can watch this YouTube video on how to do your 5 things. You're going to be doing your practice spelling test, practice vocabulary test, your grammar. And I just realized that grammar should be with an A. I've been spelling it wrong this entire time. And your mechanics. And then you have your selfie writing if you did not complete it. I know a lot of you guys completed it yesterday, so good job. All right, we're going to start with ELA. We're doing Dear Primo. If you guys ever want to read it on your own and you have your big book, you can go to page 336 in your big book. That is going to be your literature anthology. If you don't have your book yet, that's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Google Classroom. You're going to click on the waffle and you're going to scroll all the way down. Now, if you don't see your McGraw-Hill, it'll be that blue circle button. What you'll do is you're going to click on Gmail. It's going to be that M and it says Gmail. Once you go to your Gmail, it's going to again show you a waffle. And then when you scroll down, you'll be able to see McGraw-Hill Education. ELA and science are in McGraw-Hill Education. And then social studies and math is going to be in Savvis EasyBridge, and that's going to be like that white box. All right. So once you guys log into McGraw-Hill, it'll take you something similar to this. You're going to click on your Wonders Grade 2. And then if you have a previous teacher, you're just going to make sure you always click on Miss Park because that will take you to the right place. Okay. From here, you're going to click on Read. And then you're going to find the story that we're reading. This week, we're reading Dear Primo. So let's go ahead and listen to that story.
Genre, realistic fiction. Dear Primo, a letter to my cousin by Duncan Tonatiu. Essential question, how are kids around the world different? Read about how 2 cousins live and play in America and Mexico. Score! I just got a letter from my primo, my cousin, Carlitos. I live in America, but he lives in Mexico, where my family is from. Maybe someday we'll meet.
Okay, so this is, well, it doesn't say his name yet. So right now he just got a letter from his primo cousin. His primo is his cousin. Primo is a Spanish word. And his cousin is Carlitos. So this is Carlitos and he lives in Mexico. And then this person lives in America and hopefully we'll get to know his name soon. So Dear Primo Charlie. So this is Carlitos in Mexico. And then this is Charlie who lives in America. So Carlitos and then Charlie.
Dear Primo Charlie, how are you? Do you wonder like me what life is like far away? I live on a farm surrounded by mountains and trees. My family grows many things, such as maíz. We have a burro, pollos, and a gallo. Every morning, the gallo crows and crows.
So
Picture labels, gallo, maíz, burro, pollos.
So you're going to notice that it doesn't tell you what those words mean. However, there are pictures. So you can use those pictures to help you understand what those words in Spanish mean. Some of you guys in class do speak Spanish, and so you do know. So here we have Carlitos, and he's writing a letter to his primo Charlie, his cousin Charlie. So he says, I live on a farm in Mexico. We have mountains and trees. And he lives on a farm that has gallos. So it looks like that's like a rooster because it crows and crows. There's pollos, so chicken, burro, which is a donkey, and then maíz, which is corn. So now Primo Carlitos wrote a letter to Charlie. Now Charlie's going to write back to him. And so that's what he's doing here.
Dear Primo Carlitos, I live in a city. From my window, I can see a bridge and cars zooming by. I can see skyscrapers too. Skyscrapers are building so tall, they tickle the clouds. At night, all the lights from the city look like stars from the sky.
Okay, so he lives in a city. So you can see bridges and cars and skyscrapers. So they live in very different places. This one doesn't have many other buildings. He lives on a farm. There's lots of nature. He lives where there's a lot of different buildings and there's cars. And then now they're talking. So they're continuing their letters and they're talking about what their lives are like. So this is what Carlitos' life is like.
Every morning, I ride my bicicleta to school.
And so here's his bicicleta, so a bicycle.
I ride it past the perros and past the nopal.
So here they have the perros, which are dogs, I think, and the nopal, which I think is the cactus. So now let's see what Primo Charlie rides to school.
Picture labels. Nopal, perros. I ride the subway to school. The subway is like a long metal snake, and it travels through tunnels underground.
Okay, so Carlitos rides a bicycle, a bicicleta to school, while Primo Charlie rides the subway, and he compares it to a snake, a metal snake. Now, here's what Carlitos does during recess, and then this is what Charlie does during recess.
At recess time, I play football. My friend passes me the ball, I kick it with my foot, and if I score, I yell, "Goal!"
So this is very different than American football. So American football, like we just had Super Bowl Sunday this past Sunday, is that like football is like that oval shape. It's like that brown ball that you throw with your hands and people catch it. And lots of people wear helmets and protective gear because they get tackled sometimes. So that's American football. Many other countries, not just in Mexico, but in other countries like in Korea, football, we actually call that for soccer because it's a ball that you play with your foot. So if you were ever to ever visit Mexico and they're playing football, then that would be soccer. So here he's playing soccer. Let's see what Charlie plays at recess.
I play basketball. My friend dribbles the ball and passes it to me. I jump and shoot. The ball goes swoosh. Nothing but net.
Okay, so here, and then remember, yesterday we talked about how things are alike and different. That was one of our comprehension strategies for this week, knowing similarities and differences. So here we're looking at what is similar and what is different about Charlie and Carlitos. So we know some similarities are that they're both cousins, they're around the same age, they both go to school, they both have recess, they both travel to school, but some things are different. Like they both, take different ways. Like Carlitos takes a bicycle to school. Charlie takes the subway. Carlitos plays football during recess. And Charlie plays basketball during recess. If you look at the pictures, they also look a little different too. Like here, it looks like they wear a lot of slippers. And then in Mexico and in America, it looks like they're wearing a lot of sneakers. And then also some similarities are that they both are good at the sports they play. It looks like Carlitos made a goal and then Charlie made a basket.
When I come home from school, I help my mom cook. My favorite meal is quesadillas. I make them with cheese and tortillas. Picture labels. Quesadillas, tortillas.
So quesadillas is a type of food that you can eat. Many of you guys have had it. So tortillas are a type of like flat bread that you might eat like when you eat tacos. And queso is cheese in Spanish. So quesadillas is going to be like a cheesy tortilla.
In America, we have lots of different foods. My favorite is pizza. I like getting a slice on my way home from school.
So there's a lot of similarities and differences here. Some similarities, they both like to eat after school. They both have a favorite food, but the differences are that Carlitos likes quesadillas and Charlie likes pizza. It's also different where they eat it. Charlie eats it at a restaurant. Carlitos eats it at home.
After I finish my homework, my mom lets me go outside and play. In Mexico, we have many games, like trompos and canicas. Picture labels. Trompo, canicas.
And I think trompo is like this game where you spin or throw a like toy with a string and it spins. And I think canicas means marbles. It looks like it's some type of marble game.
My favorite game is papalotes. My friends and I run, and with a little wind, we fly the papalote high up. Picture label, papalote.
So papalote to me kind of sounds like paper. And if you notice, it looks like it's made, this kite is made out of a newspaper. So I think it's like a paper kite.
When I finish my homework, I play games with my friends from the building. We play by the stoop and in each other's apartments, too. I like going over to my friend's home to play video games.
Okay, so some similarities are that when they both have homework and they both have to finish it to do something else. And when they both finish their homework, they like to play. So Carlitos, the differences are he likes to play outside, he likes to play with paper kites, and he likes to play with like the marbles. Whereas Charlie, he'll play out on a stoop. So a stoop is basically just like he likes to play outdoors as well, usually like an area in front of a building. And then, so it looks like he's playing hopscotch, and he has his friend who is playing on the jump rope. And then he also likes to play video games.
In the afternoon, it often gets hot. To cool off, I jump in a small rio that is nearby. Picture label, rio.
So here, Rio, I would believe, is a river. So he likes to jump in the river when it's hot.
In the summer, the city gets hot too. I like getting splashed by the fire hydrant when the firefighters open it up and close off the block.
And then so here, Charlie, when it gets hot, they don't have a river nearby. But what he does is in the city, sometimes the firefighters would open up a fire hydrant because there's lots of water there. And then they would splash it around so that the kids can get cool.
On the weekend, I go with my parents to the mercado, an open-air market in the town nearby. We sell maíz and tunas, a prickly fruit that we grow. We also buy the food and other things we need. Picture labels, maíz, tunas.
So it doesn't show us a picture of a mercado with a label, but it tells us a mercado is an open air market. So here is the mercado. So it's open, it's outside, and people are selling things. Maíz, which we learned is corn, and then tunas, which they also tell us it's a prickly fruit that we grow.
On the weekend, I go with my mom to the supermarket. She brings a list, milk, toothpaste, soap, and I check off the items as we put them in our cart.
So different things that they do. He goes to like an outdoor market, and it looks like Charlie's in an indoor market.
In the town, from time to time, they have fiestas that last 2 or 3 days. At night, there are cohetes that light up the sky and mariachis that play and play. Picture labels, cohetes, mariachis.
So cohetes, it seems like they're fireworks, and mariachis is like a band that maybe they play like Mexican style music. They have trumpets and violins and guitars.
In my city, sometimes we have parades. People in costumes and uniforms march down the street, and everyone gathers around to watch.
So some similarities are they both have like parties. In Mexico, they call them fiestas. In America, they call them parades. And it looks like they're both wearing some type of costume. But then the style of music and the name of the people who play the music are different. So in Mexico, they have lots of mariachi bands. And in America, it looks like they're having a marching band.
There are charros in Mexico that I wish you could see. They do tricks with their caballos and reatas. Picture labels, charros, reata, caballo.
So I believe that charros are the people who ride the horse. And the reatas, it looks like it's the rope that they spin around and do cool tricks with. And then a caballo, I believe, is a horse.
On the streets here, you can see breakdancers who do flips and spin on their heads.
So they both have fun things that they see. And so in Mexico, they see the charros. And then in America, they see breakdancers.
In Mexico, we have so many traditions, such as the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
And if you've ever seen Coco, this is a way that they honor the people in their families that have passed away.
My favorite tradition is attending the December parties called posadas. At the end of each posada, there is a piñata filled with fruit and sweets. When someone breaks it, we all get to jump in.
How
Picture
fun.
label, piñata.
So piñata, I'm sure you guys have seen piñatas or heard of them. It's like a fun like shaped cardboard-ish item, and then you hit it with a stick and then candy and things will fall out. And it looks like they have fruits and sweets here. So this is what Carlitos does in Mexico. Let's see what Charlie celebrates.
In America, we have traditions too, such as Thanksgiving, when we eat turkey, and Halloween, when we dress up and go trick-or-treating. But I have to stop writing now. My mom just told me I have to brush my teeth and go to bed.
So some of the traditions that Charlie has is Thanksgiving and Halloween. And then they both say, I have an idea. My primo should come visit me. And they both say the same thing. So Carlitos is saying that and Charlie is saying that. And then look at, so what is the similarity here? Here, both Carlitos and Charlie want their primos, their cousins, to visit them. And what are some differences? Okay, well, let's see. It looks like his sneakers are here and his flip-flops. The dressers are very similar. They both have dressers where they put their clothes. It looks like he has a pet fish and Carlitos has a plant. And it looks like they both have something. It looks like he has like a little pig and then he has a little dinosaur. Their lights are a little bit different, but they both have lights in the room. They both have a bed with blankets and pillows, but his bed is like shaped like a car and his bed has this like beautifully striped design on it. All right, if you want to learn about the author and illustrator, you can always click that button and listen to it. And then we have games around the world. So if you guys want to learn about different games around the world, I really recommend you guys reading this during your asynchronous time, the time that you use to work on it yourself. You can learn about tag, which is, or what kids in Australia call it is stuck in the mud. You can learn about how they play it. Maybe you guys might even learn some new games that you can play with your siblings or your cousins or your neighborhood friends. And then they have the Owara, which is a game that they play in Ghana, which is in Africa. And so, it's one of the oldest games. It's played with 2 players with a wooden board with 12 small cups. They use like nuts or beans or pebbles, and they move them to the cups. I think it's very similar to Mancala, if you've ever played that. Jump rope, which you guys have heard of, which is very popular and looks like Netherlands and United States. Snail, which kind of looks like hopscotch. And then Ayatori, which is a Japanese game, and it kind of looks like a string game that they play. Yeah, so if you guys want to learn how to play those games and what they're like, you guys feel free to read those on your own. Okay, the next story is going to be what we're going to read next week, and it's a fun one because it's going to be a skit. So maybe we'll be able to do that together. What we're going to do now is we're going to be looking at your CRC. Okay, you should have your CRC books. Those are your closed reading companions. So if you have your closed reading companions, please get that out. I'm going to actually move up that. Actually, no, I'll just show it to you guys. So your CRC looks like this. Okay. Okay, this is your closed reading companion. You should have this book. If you don't have your book, what you're going to do is you're going to go to classwork. And then you're going to scroll down to ELA. And then you'll see right here on Wednesday, closed reading companion. And then you'll have to open it up through ConnectEd. Okay. That is only if you don't have your book. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over your answers for your CRC. However, what you need to do is you need to pause the video to write it down. You need to pause the video, take your time. If you don't finish it during ELA time, you can always finish it during any point of the day or any point in this week. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn to the correct page. So we're going to be on page 114 to 120. Almost there. All right, ready? So, dear primo, a letter to my cousin. What does the language used to describe where the cousins live show you about them? Reread page 338 to 339. Talk about the interesting descriptions and phrases you see. 338 to 339. So since I'm using the online version, I can actually just click 338 and then click return or enter. And let's do that.
Dear Primo Charlie, how are you? Do you wonder like me what life is like far away? I live on a farm surrounded by mountains and trees. My family grows many things, such as maíz. We have a burro, pollos, and a gallo. Every morning, the gallo crows and crows. Dear Primo Carlitos, I live in a city. From my window, I can see a bridge and cars zooming by. I can see skyscrapers too. Skyscrapers are building so tall, they tickle the clouds. At night, all the lights from the city look like stars from the sky.
So here it says, write 3 descriptive phrases from the text. What do they tell you about the cousins? So we know that Charlie sees skyscrapers that tickle the clouds. So he lives very high up. Carlitos is surrounded by mountains and trees. And then Charlie has these city lights that look like stars. So there's lots of lights are in the city. So Charlie and Carlitos are both using creative ways to show each other where they live. The language and description shows the cousins are creative, they're thoughtful, and they're interested in teaching each other about each other's lives. They both use language to try and paint a picture, which is one of our strategies for this week, which is visualizing, paint a picture in their head, in their minds for one another to show them where they live, to explain it to them. Okay, now how do the illustrations teach you about the cousins? Talk about the illustrations we see on 352 and 353. So look at this. So this was at the mercado, which was the open air market. And then this was at the supermarket. This is Carlitos, here's Charlie. So here, both show one of the cousins. They both show them buying food, but they're different because the way that they're dressed is different. And then the food in the market looks different. So like, look, how it is, it looks like here everyone is selling something. So it's maybe they're like even sometimes trading things. Like maybe she'll trade one of her baskets that she made for some chilies. But here it's a person who just works there. Not everyone here is working, but here there's a worker, and then these people are just the consumers, which we talked about in social studies. And it looks like the way that it's laid out, they're all outside, they're inside, they have all of their food and their things that they're selling on like little mats. And here it looks like this is like in a refrigerator and they're like stocked up on like shelves. So it looks very different. So here we have the illustrations teach me that the cousins both do the same kinds of things, but in different ways. And then the last one for our dear primo, why does the author spread the words, I have an idea, over 2 pages? And that was on the last page. So it says, I have an idea, and it's because they're both saying it. They're both saying that they have an idea, and they're saying it at the same time to show that they both said it at the same time and to show that the 2 boys think alike. The author spreads the words over 2 pages because he wants to show that both cousins say it at the same time. They think alike. Okay, now this next portion is going to be for games around the world. So you guys will need to read through games around the world to answer these questions. Here are the answers. You can always pause this YouTube video. And then the last one is your integrate. And that's going to be in blue. And that'll be the last of your CRC. And then it's what is similar and different about how kids around the world dress and how they play. And here's a picture of 2 young girls from the Karo tribe during face painting. The Karo tribe lives in Ethiopia. The Karo people use natural resources to make body paint. How cool is that? All right, the next thing that we're going to be doing, guys, is going to be your turn. Okay, so we skipped your turn from yesterday. So let me actually cross that out. Okay, your turn for this today is going to be page 177 to 178. So get out your turn book. If you don't have your turn book, this is what your turn book looks like. It looks like this one. It says your turn practice book. It's a blue floppy book. Okay. Same thing. What you guys are going to be doing today is you're going to get your books out. Oops. Okay. And you're going to be doing this asynchronously on your own as I go over, or as I'm going over it. If you need more time, you need to pause the YouTube video and take your time while working on it. Now, if you don't have your turn book, or if you can't find it, you go to ELA and under classwork, click on fluency. I'm sorry, not fluency. Close reading companion Wednesday. Nope. I don't know what I'm doing. Your turn. You click on your turn workbook page. It's going to be underneath the Tuesday one, and then open up in Kami. Okay. So you're going to open up the your turn one, but most of you guys have your books, or if you don't have your book, you know how to use Kami. All right, let's go ahead and look at your turn. What we're going to be doing today is looking at pages 177 to 178. Also, because we didn't have school on Monday, we actually didn't go through your spelling skills. So I'm going to quickly touch on that. Almost there. Okay, right here. I believe we're on unit. Nope, I think I went way too high up. Unit 4, week 3. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's go look over, because we didn't do these, so let's talk about it. Okay, so this was going to be using your vocabulary words to finish the story. And then this, the letters O-R, O-R-E, and O-A-R can make the same sound, or. You can hear the sound in the words short, O-R, chore, O-R-E, and soar, O-A-R. The letters A-R can stand for the sound you hear in the words arm, R, A-R, okay? So O-R, O-R-E, and O-A-R makes the or sound, A-R makes the R sound. Park, A-R, roar, O-A-R, scarf, A-R, yard, A-R, score, O-R-E, north, O-R, okay? And then we also worked on our plurals. Sometimes plurals change, like instead of saying tooths, if you lose more than one tooth, you would say teeth. Instead of saying childs, if there's more than one child, you would say children. And then we skipped this, but if you guys want to do this one, you guys are more than welcome to. If you need a refresher on how to do your fluency, there are recorded videos, and there's also directions on how to do it here, as well as in your fluency reading spreadsheet. Okay. Going to school. My name is Alba. I go to school in Mexico. I study 6 subjects, including Spanish and English. At lunchtime, I buy food at the school store and eat outside with my friends. So how can you tell that this is a realistic fiction? Because it is a made-up story, but these events can happen in real life. There could be a girl named Alba. She could go to school in Mexico and learn 6 subjects. It could be like math, English, Spanish, history, science, and social studies, or PE. So who is telling, or music or art, who is telling the story? How do you know? It's Alba because she uses the words I. My name is Alba. I go to school in Mexico. So she's the one telling the story. And then what is one realistic event that Alba tells about? She buys food at the store and eats outside with her friends. That's something you could do. You could buy food at school and then eat outside on the benches. Okay. If you need more time with this, remember, you're just going to pause the video, and work on that. Okay. Next, we have the last one are similes. A simile compares 2 unlike things. It uses the words like or as to make the comparison. Remember yesterday we watched that similes video. The little song that looked like The Incredibles. The dim sun hung like a nickel in the sky. What two things does the author compare? The author is comparing the sun to a nickel. So it looks like it has like that shape of a nickel, like circular. What does the simile mean? That the sun is dim and not bright. So how does a dull look like a nickel? My dad bought a turkey as big as a pillow. What two things does the author compare? The turkey and then the pillow. So what does that mean? He's saying that the turkey is very big. There were displays of fruits and vegetables like colorful rainbows. So what two things is the author comparing? The fruits and veggies to rainbows. And what does it mean? That the fruits and veggies were colorful. They had many colors like a rainbow does. Like maybe the apples were red and the oranges were orange and the bananas were yellow and the broccoli was green and the blueberries were blue and the yams were purple. All right, that is going to be it for ELA. What you guys are going to be doing for the remainder of the time is make sure you get all of your CRC and your turn done, read through games around the world, and then you need to complete your 5 things. Practice spelling, practice vocabulary, grammar, mechanics, selfie writing. If you don't know what to do for those, watch yesterday's video or watch this YouTube how-to to find out where you need to go. Okay, for the remainder of the day, we got PE, we got benchmark testing for math. Most of you guys completed it yesterday. So if you completed it yesterday, you do not need to do it again. I'm going to be giving you guys time this week to get that done. And then we're also actually, we're going to start working on ELA tomorrow. You got to finish your benchmark math test today. And then today for Wednesday, we're actually going to be taking a break from science, and then we're going to start up on science again tomorrow. Okay. Just make sure you guys complete all of your assignments today, since I know we have a lot.